Oh, welcome back to another install video on this frigid mid-November 2022 day. We're going to do a keyless fuel filler on the 790, 890 platform. I find this incredibly aggravating, dealing with the key, having to take the keys out to access the fuel tank. It's especially aggravating if you have a damper where you really can't even open it to put fuel in it, at which point you take the keys out, put fuel in it, you know, keys back in, shut the thing, and keys back to your ignition. Not my cup of tea. I prefer my dirt bikes function like a dirt bike with a screw-on fuel cap. So this is pretty easy, straightforward. I'll show you the tools real quick that are required, and then we'll dive in. Okay, these are the tools you need. 4mm Allen and a T25 Torx that removes the factory fuel neck. Then a 3mm Allen for the new hardware. And here's the product. This is what it includes: the keyless fuel filler, M5 bolts, washers. You have 6 washers here. We put 6 washers in the pack just because counting hardware is a little bit difficult to do it at a fast pace, and you can make mistakes. So we throw in an extra one. You're only going to use 5 of them. I'll show you why in a second. The lanyard, you can use any of the holes here to place the lanyard, and that particular bolt does not get a washer on it. And then here's the O-ring for the base. Yeah, you can see the design here is relatively unique. We do an O-ring groove for a Viton O-ring, which is included in the hardware pack here. Fits in there for a sealing element. All this material has been machined out of here, pocketed out as much as possible, making this unit come in at about 400 grams. The factory's 600 grams, so you've got a 33% weight reduction compared to the factory unit. This barbed fitting here connects to the vent line, and don't touch this guy here. We torque these in the shop before they're packaged. They're relatively delicate, and if you get on this thing with a T-handle and crank down, you can very easily break these off, at which point I have to send you a new one and you pay a bunch of shipping costs. Just let's avoid that. Don't touch that thing. Let's see, the fuel fill itself is you can see that it's off center because the hole in the fuel tank is off center of this bolt pattern. It's not right in the middle. So this is straight through. There's no edges, lips, anything to catch fuel while you're filling for backspatter or anything like that. And this hole is sized just to be the same size as what's in the tank. And that way you don't have an extra lip here or edge for the fuel to hit if you don't have the nozzle all the way down into the hole, which is a unique feature to this product. I know what people do it. It's cheaper. It's more of a headache manufacturing wise to make this thing off center, but it results in a better product. So that's what you get. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, first step we're gonna do, we're gonna unlock the fuel tank. Jeez, all right, got that sorted. I did that a little prematurely. I colored these bolts red, the tops one if you can see them. These are the 3 you need to take out. These other 3 are more or less just faux for looks. They're not actually really doing anything. They are threaded into this this cast body, but they're not holding anything in place. They're just there, so you don't actually need to touch them. So we're gonna pull these 3. Like that. And now this whole assembly will come right off of there like that. And then this bottom dish comes off as well. You've got 2 lines here. You've got the drain line and you have this venting line on the left. The drain line is just kind of a port here at the base of this plastic dish for, I think it's for rainwater, etc., that might get in there, and settles in this dish here, or maybe when you're filling it, if you get fuel residue here, this drains, goes under the bike, and just exits. This venting line is actually to catch fumes and such, and it goes to the charcoal canister if you still have that on your bike. Regardless, we're gonna pull both these off. We're gonna reuse the venting line on this. The drain line can be discarded. We're not going to be using that again. So inside here, we have 3 Torx screws. That's where we're gonna use our T25. And then it's probably not a half bad idea just to stick something in there in case you get a little excited with your screwdriver here and try to drop a screw in the fuel tank. That's not gonna go over well. We've all been there swearing like crazy after a stunt like that. So, get that one there. And they're different. There's 2 button heads in there like this, and there's one flathead like that. But they're all 3 are T25 Torx bits. So, you get those 3 undone. You set those to the side. We'll not be reusing that. You can pull this thing then comes up like so, at which point you can pull the lines, and the lines are labeled in case you move them around. You've got this A, D on the tank here, but if you flip-flop them, there is a label. They see there, drain is labeled on there. That hose will not be reused. This will. Make sure you I've had one on here, on and off, testing, fitting, etc. So this is nice and clean. Yours likely, that won't be the case. So clean this surface out real well. Okay, we got the top piece off, we got this bottom part off of there as well. One thing we're going to, we'll just drop these bolts out of here. We're going to reuse this factory plastic. It just sort of fills the void around the tank. And this just slides right off the bottom, just like so, piece of cake. And you can see these small protrusions here around it. Those are going to snap into the new fuel filler. So we'll take this guy and we'll put it on from the bottom, like so. And then we're just going to, you can just kind of pull these a little bit and snap it right into the ring that's machined around this guy. And then it rotates. So your vent barb is pointing forwards. So you kind of center that forward. Waterproof grease. That wasn't on my list of required tools, but you need some waterproof grease. Let me grab some real quick. Good old waterproof bell right here. And what we're gonna do is take the O-ring and just take a bit of grease. And this just creates a nice barrier for dirt, grime. I mean, you could probably not grease it, but it's a good idea to do it. And then if you take this off to service it or anything like that, you got a nice ring of grease. And any dust bouncing around on the inside there will get caught up in this, kind of like a fly trap, rather than going into your tank. So there's that. I'm gonna pull this guy and then take your fuel filler like that and just put that in it. Like so. Yeah, it's nice and stuck in there, and you flip it upside down, it won't fall out. So many advantages to grease. All right, so we have a greased O-ring, and we have this plastic void filler here connected on there. And sometimes, if your bike's older, this can get, last quarter-inch, half-inch or so can get stretched out because of the large nipple that's on this factory piece here. If it doesn't fit on very snug, I would trim it. I would just cut off a half-inch of that hose before you put it on this new barb. At that point, we can attach the venting line and set the unit in there, and you can look in there and find the whole location, and you might have to, rotate the unit to get that, get everything to line up there. Okay, now we're gonna grab these M5 screws, a washer on every single one of them except for one. And that one is gonna get the lanyard. And that one that gets the lanyard can go anywhere you want it to go. So I'm just going to start these screws here. I am right-handed, and so I prefer to use my right hand when at the fuel station. So I'm gonna put my lanyard over here on the left side somewhere. I think we'll go to that top hole there. It really doesn't matter which one you connect it to. I'm gonna take my 3mm Allen here and just sort of gonna do a cross pattern here and snug it up. Then we will take the last one, no washer, the lanyard, like so. Screw that into place. And just kind of lightly tighten it and make sure, this looks about the way you want it to be. We'll go with that. And then, just snug these up. We're really just crushing the O-ring under there and enough for them to not vibrate out. I do not recommend using Loctite on these at all. I've seen plenty of issues with people using Loctite where you have those threaded brass nuts embedded in the polymer, which is what's under here. And so we just snug those guys up a bit. No need to get carried away with it at all. And then the last screw is the screw that goes into the fuel cap. So we will just put the lanyard like that, put the screw in there. And then this one here, you can tighten it tight. The hole is threaded shallow so that you cannot pinch this. That's the point of it, so that it rotates without binding up. And then you're hands-free. You don't have to worry about placing your cap somewhere. It's always going to be there with you. Fill up and put the cap back on. Like so. I think that's it. Nailed it.